So you can see here that the beginning of my path made that stroke absolutely itty bitty tiny. To see it without the gray line of the path itself, just click off of the path in the Paths panel. In fact, this is so tiny here where it began. If I come in, it doesn't actually leave much pixel information at all. That's not really what I want for this graphic. I want that to have at least a little bit of width right there. To do that, you simply need to edit the features of the brush that you are on. So I'm going to grab my brush panel, and under Shape Dynamics, if you click on the word Shape Dynamics, there is a control called Minimum Diameter. Right now it's set to 0%, which is why that happened. If I scale that up just a little bit, it should take care of that problem. So let's try stroking this path again. I'm going to turn the eyeball off on the old one and create a new layer, and then click on my headphones layer so that I know that it's selected. This time, instead of right-clicking or anything like that, you can just hit return and it will stroke that path for you. I'm going to hit Command H. This will also hide your line, so you can either do a Command H toggle off and on, or just click off of it here in your Paths panel. You can see now that that doesn't disappear all the way down at my little point right here. Also realize that this brush is affected directly by the size of my brush. So if I said, well, I like that, but I want my line to be a little bit thinner, I can use my bracket control keys to get a smaller brush. We'll do this again, turn that off, turn on a new layer. Got to be on the paths that you want to stroke here in the Paths panel, and then push return. I like that better because now it doesn't close up this area where it gets kind of narrow right there. So that's a nifty option. Let's take a look at doing a quick stroke on a path. So if you wanted to create a really cool texture, swoopy, smooth stroke that went from small to large, you could do something like this. Grab your pen tool and create an S-curve here in your document. You'll notice that the work path appeared, and that will remain there until I start doing a new path. This isn't one that I need to make permanent, however, so I'm not going to worry about making that permanent. Let's create a new layer in the Layers panel and grab your brush and push return. That will stroke that path. Now, let me back up just a second. If you try hitting return when you're on your pen tool, it will just disappear. It will get you off of that path. So I guess that's useful to know if you want to get off of a work path. Click on this again so that your path is there. Grab your brush tool this time and push return. And that will stroke the path from beginning to end. So this doesn't have to be on a closed shape. The other thing to realize is that this path is not in any way connected to the pixels that it just put down. So I can still grab my pen tool, hold down Command, get an end of this, and just move that down. Switch to my brush tool by hitting the letter B, and then hit return to stroke it again. And I can do that multiple times and get a pretty nifty looking, very smooth swoosh. That's definitely better than I could have ever done with a freeform mouse drawing tool. This so far has been done with just a regular round brush set to pressure sensitivity. Realize that any brush you pick is going to put its unique features down along that line. So let's find one that's got something else going on for it. What does this one look like? Okay, so this one has a little bit of texture. This time when I push return, it will stroke it with the texture of what I have. So editing your brush will really affect the type of stroke that you're getting on this path. If you decide ever that you want to switch back to not simulating pressure, what you need to do is grab your pen tool, right click on that path, and choose stroke path from there, and then uncheck simulate pressure. So that is just as if you had clicked and drawn through there. Hide the layer that you are currently on and create a new layer, and then click on the headphones in the Paths panel. I want to show you that even though these make up one shape, it's still two separate paths, and you can really see that if you grab your path selection tool. This isn't the white arrow, this is actually the black arrow beneath your type tool. If you click on the center path, only it will become selected. If I have just that selected and then grab my brush tool and hit return, only that path will get stroked on it. So that might be useful in some cases, but in this one it's not. I really want my whole shape to get the stroke. So I'm going to hit Command Z to undo that. With my black path selection tool active, I'm going to hold Shift and click on the outside one so that both of these are selected. You can move them around at that point. But the other thing you can do is go up to your options here and choose Merge Shape Components. Once that has been clicked, if you click off of your headphones here and then back on, then when you click on this line, it will grab everything. So that's really useful if you're working with a really complicated shape made up of a whole bunch of different paths, that once you get them all set up, just select them all using your path selection tool and then merge them together under your options. The other options here in the paths panel at the bottom are to fill the area of that path with color. So if I click on that, you'll actually see a solid area appear. Now this is not a vector shape. What I just created was a pixel shape. If I grab my white direct selection tool and move stuff around, you can see that color isn't connected to my path. So just like when we stroked it, it just created a pixel version. Now that we've covered that, let's go back to the headphones file that had our original path created. One of the things I use paths frequently for is to make selections if I wanted to copy this image of just the headphones to a new file. First off, I need to be on that path, so I've clicked it in my paths layer, and then you can click on the little dotted line button down at the bottom here, or Command Return will turn that into an actual selection. Now in my layers I can copy that and then paste it anywhere that I want. Conversely, if you have a selection, you can turn it into a path, and that's this last option here in the Paths panel. If I click on it and zoom in, you'll see something pretty quickly. It didn't do as neat of a job selecting the area with the path as I did with my pen tool. In fact, I can flip back and forth between these and you can really see the difference. I don't know that I ever use this function of turning a selection back into a path. It, I'm sure, comes in useful sometimes, but mostly I just make my path from scratch so that I can really control it so that it has its own look. Now that you have all of that knowledge, you could create something like this. So I used my selection option here by hitting Command Return, and then I copied my image to a new document and pasted it, and then created other items around it. So here is a word layer, and then I used my pen set to the shape option to create a pen line shape in my layers panel that also had a stroke set to it to create kind of a chord.